Rolling Tin Fist. So I went down this evening. I'm away on business, staying at this hotel in New York, and I expected my order to be brought up. I ordered from an external restaurant, but instead there was a mix-up apparently, and the concierge on duty, who was different from the concierge when I checked in, called me to ask if I was going to come down and pick up the food. So I didn't want to argue. I was tired, long day. So I go downstairs, I pay the guy from the restaurant, and I get back onto this small elevator, even small for New York. As the door's about to close, a young, beautiful Italian woman in olive skin comes into the elevator, probably about mid to late 20s. And I ask what floor she's going to, and she tells me 10th floor. And so I still have my receipt in my hand, my food in my hand, my credit card in my hand, and I haven't put any of that away, so my hands are full already. And so I remember that the elevator requires a key card. But assuming that the card in my hand is the key card, I go the motion forward, and then she laughs, and I look at her, and then I look down to realize why she's laughing. I've stuck my credit card into the slot for the key card. So I pull it back, and I kind of, give a I'm sorry response, all pulling out the key card. And all the while she's looking at me intently, just quiet, and just looking at me, smiling. And I can begin to feel that I'm kind of being drawn in terms of my higher mind fading away and my lesser mind coming back. Mind you, the elevator's small enough that between us is about 4 to 6 inches. And so I press my button, elevator starts going up, and I realize she has a cup of cookies and what looks like a coffee in her hand. And so, I'm quiet, but then she's still looking at me, and then I say, "Oh, do you have biscotti in your cup?" And she goes, "Yes, I do." And she's still looking at me. I'm saying, "Oh, that's good," I reply. And then at this point, the elevator can't move fast enough because she's still looking at me. And so at this point, my higher mind kicks back in, and I just kind of, smile and turn away, and praying the elevator gets to my stop quick enough. It does. And I tell her good night, and she goes, "Thank you." She smiles, and then she goes off. Or rather, I take that back. I go off because my floor was before her. But in any case, we exchange pleasantries, and I go off. And as I got off the elevator, I could kind of feel this wave of euphoria leave me. Not in a negative way, but more of when you've come off of a high and you're coming back to your normal baseline. That was the feeling. And while the euphoria was good, the energy, if you will, that I felt from the experience, what disturbed me was how I kind of just got pulled in, and I had to remember, even though I wasn't a MGTOW, the way of MGTOW, to make sure I didn't get pulled in into um, a situation, not only because I'm married, but just in general, even if I was single, the idea of you're being pulled into a direction where, you start complimenting her, you start saying, "Hey, let's go to the bar," and the rest. I was able to just get up, go to my room, have dinner. It's important because whether you're a MGTOW, whether you're in your 20s, your 30s, your 40s, married, whatever the case may be, even if you're not a MGTOW, there's going to be situations you encounter where there's just going to be the right kind of temptation. Each man has his particular weakness in terms of females, unless you happen not to be heterosexual, or you are gentleman that isn't really into the social dating scene, whatever the case may be. But most men, at least the ones I know personally, have a certain type of woman that is their weakness for. You guys out there know what I'm talking about. You can picture her in your mind even as I'm talking. Believe me, I have them too. You need to be aware that you need a mechanism of some sort, either your own internal system that kind of has alarm bells ringing when you see such a woman, so you have a way to short circuit what may be your lower mind going ahead and thinking with your little head, if you will, that can kind of pull you out of the situation. When I was a MGTOW, when I was younger, where I had a much less control of my hormones, especially going to a club, I always made sure one of my buddies was with me if I knew it was a particular club where my type of women tended to go. I would always say, hey, if you see me doing something out of the ordinary, like, buying drinks, uh, you know, starting to act the fool, as we used to say, just get me out of the situation. And I would return the favor. Um, One hand washes the other. We each got our back. But I can't stress enough that whether you're a MGTOW, whether you're not a MGTOW, 20s, 30s, young, old, you need to make sure you have that escape valve, that out, whatever it is, to make sure you're not in a situation that could end up being not in your favor. The best case scenario in my case, I say hi, I say bye, I get off the elevator. But I've known individuals who went further down the rabbit hole. Have you ever been in a situation where you had to be creative about how you got out of it, or you needed a friend to bail you out? Let a brother know. I'm off to the dojo.